This is a dangerous one to be doing. Am I actually about to disrespect any of the Eevee family? People take the Eeveelutions very personally, like a firstborn child, and now I have a 7 in 8 chance to mug off your firstborn child in some way. Because everyone knows if your favorite ain't first, then it's last. All the hypercharged Eevee fans are gonna be praying to their Flareon Jumbo Funko Pops, reshuffling their tarot cards till it spells out an unfortunate fate for me, writing in their death notes my name, listed under ritualistic seppuku, updating their DeviantArts with threatening drawings of the channel mascot Crabrawler being sentenced to an automatic crab butchering machine. But yeah, all the Eevees are subjectively good, depending on your personal preference, but somehow ranking them in order wasn't anywhere near as difficult as I thought it'd be. Only like 5th and 4th place I had to use a bit of brain power for. As a top 8, I for one think there's a very fair and balanced order for the Eevees. And I swear, if there's some kind of DLC Eeveelution that pipes up in some trailer or some Pokemon Go glitch right after I finally do this video, I promise you, I will cut the legs from under it. I'll commission an army of artists to make an unstoppable tide of images sweeping the internet. You won't be able to Google that new Eevee's name without seeing photos of it gooning with Batista. So I believe we've come to an understanding. So this is gonna be me ranking all 8 Eeveelutions. We already know who's in the last place. Okay, we're not gonna cut around it, okay? We all know which of the Eevee bloodline would be getting the bullet bills, the gold stars, the government perks in Mario Kart. The obvious 8th place. I'd say the only one that's objectively bad. With its notoriously bad move pool, we've all heard it many times before. Almost every Eevee had at least a somewhat viable crack at being competitive, but Flareon was given the clamps from day one. I rarely take the smoking for ranking things, but I was really curious. How's Flareon holding up these days? And as always, got their finger on the pulse of the metagame with the foolproof strategy. Don't use Flareon. You don't even need the Firestone. You can effectively get the same outcome by snipping your Eevee's bollocks off. If Flareon were part of the Gen 4 Eeveelutions and they didn't botch its stats and move pool, then just maybe it would have been a certified hood classic. Or maybe not. Maybe the fact that it's part of the original 150 is the only thing that keeps it in any conversation. But even then, that only makes it look worse. Look at the fire type lineup Kanto has on offer, and then you'll see just how dirty Flareon was getting done. You have a Firestone and decided to get yourself a Flareon in a realm where Arcanine is well within the realms of possibility. I reckon there'd be a finite amount of elemental stones as well. I reckon they're not as easy to come by than the games might suggest. Not everyone can be the prodigal child who gets to meet every legendary and becomes champion in like 20 hours. And you come into possession of a rare Gemerald, and you still opted for the Flareon. The only reason you'd use it that way is if you think Flareon is really adorable. And you may be correct, but if that's your motive, why not just keep the Eevee strapped with an Everstone and you still have your adorable fluffy pets? And then here's what you're gonna do with that Firestone. You're gonna get it in your hand, you're gonna wrap it in a thick bit of ham, and you're gonna feed it to Growlithe. He won't even know what hit him. And you got the best of both sides of the pet spectrum sorted. The Mountain Dog is all about the action, loyal protector of the castle, and the sentient plushie. Look, you could have been living in a household with an Eevee and an Arcanine, but nah. You had to have the rare Eevee. You opted for just a Flareon. Well, okay, in this hypothetical, you've also got a Growlithe. You got me there. That's still a win. But whatever. Either way, your choices, quite frankly, sickened me. You could have had the Arcanine and produced more Growlithes. Then you've got Big Mama's Arcanine, a dozen Growlithes running about the gaff, and the Eevee. But no, you just sit there and stew on your singular Growlithe and your poor decision and think of what could have been. Of all fates your Eevee may succumb to, being permanently ice isn't the most ideal way to go. You see all the potential you have, and you end up as just a Glaceon. You couldn't help but feel a bit deflated. It's like if every other guy in your family were genetically predetermined to naturally bench 4 plates by age 15. But for some reason, you're built for the pickleball squad. Like, I could have been an Umbreon, Vaporeon, Sylveon, but nah. No, I'm like the 5'4" of Eevees. It's not the worst, you know, but you'd definitely be like, really? Really, this is the one I turn into? Hey, you leave me on the cold for 1 minute and now look at me. I was reading up on my crystals and spirituality, prepping to be an Espeon. What good's all that gonna be now that I'm a 4-legged aircon unit? Glaceon's like when you're hungry at the airport and the only place they ever seem to have doing food is Burger King. Like, I'm not too pleased about it. And you know I'm gonna have to take it. But I really don't know why they never just have a McDonald's down here. No one can dispute a Mackey's. And the one time they do have it, it's in Turkey and it costs like 20 euros for a Happy Meal. Even like a Subway will do. You know, you're thinking, why don't they just have the Umbreon here? You know, everyone likes Umbreon. No one's complaining about Umbreon. Everybody can have something there. Generally though, I think Glaceon is fine. I'd have had another few cracks at designing an Ice Eevee personally, but it's serviceable. It's not quite the Big Mac, and the rip-off chicken nuggies may be so processed it feels like you're chewing on Luffy's kneecaps, but it gets the job done. You won't go hungry at the airport. I wouldn't think you're a wrong'un for liking it, but I completely understand how it's probably the most forgettable one. If you ask someone, hey, what's the name of that blue Eevee? In order, their guesses would go, oh, Vaporeon. What, shiny Umbreon? Nah? Okay, Sylveon. Then why not? It's got a bit of blue on him. Oh, wait, nah, I know the one you're on about. There's that ice one, isn't it? Yeah. Glacier. Surely the most underrated Eevee in the entire World Wrestling Federation. The green one. I think Leafeon is really cool. Because I know for a fact, I guarantee you if Leafeon dropped today, it would be gas. If they dropped the Scarlet and Violet DLC trailer tomorrow, revealing Leafeon, all he is, I'd be raving about it. It wouldn't be underrated at all. It's got a much more distinctive design going for it out of the Gen 4 pair, if you can even call them a package deal. You know what I mean? Like the Kanto Eevees, they're a trio. They're the boys. Umbreon and Espeon are a little yin and yang. Prepare for trouble. Make it double. Combo selection. Glaceon and Leafeon. I don't think the two know each other. I don't think they're on like a first name basis. They just happened to live down the road from each other. They had a similar sounding name, so they just got put next to each other on the school register. But Leafeon is far superior. You'd never expect, what are the Eevees meant to be? Like some kind of cat dog made of leaf, made of that ganj, to be one of the physically beefiest Eevees around. This strain of Eevee would floor you. You'd be crawling about the function on all fours, thinking you've become Leafeon. Man, never should have had that Leafeon Rolly, man. Had me sipping on the McDonald's Sprite for 6 hours thinking I'm Buzzswole drinking a Snorlax. The kind of joints that make you see John Cena. No, not like the whole, you can't see me. Why is he talking to no one? Invisible man joke that everyone's rinsed out. No. He's invaded your house. Nah, that's way too strong. Even the second-hand smoke getting the whole house going. Yeah, nice one. Look what you done. Granddad's gone into work in the JCB thinking he's Dr. Eggman. I'd say it'd floor you from brute force alone though, because it's got the biceps to do so. But oddly enough, the most diesel-fueled Eevee and basically doesn't fight. But I think they're really limiting the Eevees by having them abide by these model Pokemon proportions. You know what we need? We need some plus-sized Eevee representation. Leafeon has 110 attack. Those are genetic freak numbers for our little cat dog thing. This little freak of an Eevee should be built like a pit bull named Spud. Kind of dog that gets your mail delivered to your neighbor's 3 doors down out of fear. Has about 20 postman's ankles under his belt. I really can't fault them for the design we ended up with. It's actually one of the more creative Eevees going out of the whole gang. Alright, we're up to 5 out of 8. The lower leagues are all sorted. This is where it gets a bit personal. I think it's fair to say out of these 8, when you get to around 5th place, that's when you have to start making the real sacrifices. You know where people stand once they've got the Flareon and Sinnoh Eevees out of the way. Alright, we've done the complimentary none. Let's get to the meat and spuds. The all-you-can-eat world buffet of Eevees. But which Eeveelution fan account am I getting blocked by first on Twitter? It's a dealer's choice. A very tricky dealer's choice. Because with these videos, it's always the most difficult part for me to sort the rankings in the middle, where my brain is at its most volatile state. Because right now, 5th and 4th place for the Eevees, it could switch based on my testosterone levels for the day. Let's say you sat me down in a room, there's 2 TVs, one's playing back-to-back episodes, a double helping of Brickleberry and Paradise PD. Oh, what a lucky boy I am. But wait, it gets better, because the other one is playing Just Big Mouth. In my hand, I am given a one-time use hammer, which immediately crumbles as soon as I strike one of the TVs down, perishing like a well-spent Minecraft pickaxe. I'd try and be a bit of a smartass about it. I'd probably stack the two together and hope for a nice little collateral double kill. But as of this moment, my testosterone would be giving me the primal urge to doing the Big Mouth TV. And today, Vaporeon is getting smashed with the hammer. What I'm saying is, it's hard to choose from here on out. I'd be taking all of the Eevees from this point onwards, and Vaporeon at 5th place, or to dig myself deeper, 37.5 out of 100. The godfather of the Eevee family. Not even just a great Eevee, it's a great water type all around. Vaporeon may just be the most practical of the gang. Maybe the one I definitely want to evolve into the most if I were an Eevee. Can breathe underwater, the water heals you, can freely control that high quality H2O. Your cell composition allows you to melt. The other two Kanto ones got done dirty. Vaporeon sounding like a Logia Devil Fruit user, just made of water. Jolteon can't morph itself into light. I don't even think Flareon can breathe fire. Vaporeon is a made Eon. As long as you're around your element, you've got what sounds like water bending, recovery, invisibility powers. Just gotta be careful about how your cells spread around the water. You don't want to reassemble on land and notice Buzzswole along with his built-in Mega Gulp straw accidentally drank your tail. I've ranked all the Eevees in past videos for different topics like Stone Evolution, so you'd think this would be easy for me, that I'd already have a canonical order that I should abide by to at least try and make my opinions look consistent, but I can't even do that, because in the Friendship Evolutions video I made, I had the Happiness Eevee trio ranked equally, so I can't even go back and ask my previous self, hey brother, I'm struggling to tier the Eevees, how did you go about it? Nice traps, by the way, brother. You looking big. I have to actually put the brain power into it now. I think it's fair to say, for the sake of going through with that long in-game mechanic, in terms of them being friendship evolutions, that they are of equal value. But I'm not jammy enough to cop out like that, having 3 of the 8 Eevees tied here. So Espeon, back of the queue. Espeon works well as a foil to Umbreon. As a package deal, they're iconic. But as a solo Eevee, I think Espeon is actually one of the more middling ones when you stack them all against each other. That sounds harsh, but 4th favorite Eevee, that's still like solid A+ tier. Come on, what do you want from me? I reckon maybe it just falls short of Umbreon because the dark type got introduced. So Umbreon was like this Buzz Lightyear, shiny new pocket toy, while Espeon's being thrown into the diver's end of the pool, along with all the Alakazams and the most powerful creature ever conceived. Espeon's swimming in the pool with the Phelps of all Pokemon, not even just psychic types. Umbreon gets to be like the ambassador of the dark brand, while Espeon gets to sit at home and watch the big psychic types star in all the movies. But with all of that said, still a banger Eevee. I know I'm over here saying Glaceon needed a bit more time in the air fryer. I could easily have said the same for Espeon, but I think the simplicity was just on point here. So simple, yet so unforgettable. We love a bit of that magic bounce action, and in all fairness, it still has very similar credentials to an Alakazam. Look, at the end of the day, they're both eating out of bowls. Alakazam was just smart enough that he came equipped for the job. Whether you love them or hate them, it's almost always one or the other. Apathy is the last reaction a finely crafted pocket pet should be getting from you, especially one as high profile as an Eevee. The Umbreons and Espeons, they don't come easy. Just being an Eevee doesn't give you enough clout to be an iconic Pokemon. You have to graft for an eye-catching design to market an entire generation around. You can make a solid argument that Sylveon is the most unique Eevee around. Maybe because it's the first solo Eevee. It was never a package deal as a duo or trio, so getting the Buzz Lightyear treatment day one, that was never on the cards. Sylveon is the Buzz Lightyear. It could whack on the sheriff's hat and have itself a little Woody's Roundup if he wanted to. It could be my man Slinky if he's feeling zesty enough with the ribbon. Doesn't matter, because there is no Buzz. There's no Umbreon or Vaporeon there to potentially outshine Sylveon. In a sense though, you could say it's somewhat paired with Umbreon, because these two had to be universal bangers. They had to perform big. Introducing a whole new type, you bring out the heavy artillery. You don't piss about, you give them an Eevee to know this type means business. I mean, Steel's missed out for now, but that type, that has more than enough going for it. A Stevie. Now that'd be a weapon. Do you really think you could hype up a whole new subcategory of fictional Japanese creature by just chucking us an Eevee with a heart on its back? Nah, they couldn't pull a Glaceon with this and go with the first draft. Sylveon had to come with one of the most unique looks of any Eevee. Espeon had to tank that 5th place. And it's nothing personal towards Espeon because the gaps between 5th to 1st place are thin enough. But if I'm raising an Eevee down Johto, that boy would be nocturnal, getting trained in the basement, the dungeon, the muscle factory. I don't want him getting even a slight glimpse of any UV rays and turning into an Espeon while I'm not looking. The alpha Eon of the pair couldn't be more clear. Umbreon's kind exists purely to nerf Espeon's kind. And like Sylveon, Umbreon had to bang, bridging into the new dark type. I still think playing Shadow the Hedgehog on Christmas morning 2005, it just altered my brain chemistry for good. Somehow that disgusting black creature holding a weapon was the gateway to an entire generation carrying on the lifeblood of new metal. And many of these people went on to contribute their digital footprint in the form of dozens of drawings of Umbreon crinkling his toes. But by God, is it one sleek pocket dog? It's like a Gengar kind of Pokemon, just so malleable. You can slap it on any merchandise. It looks coolio. It's viable. You can make it a starter Pokemon with 0 complaints. It checks off everything to be many people's favorite Pokemon going. I get it. Honestly, I don't even blame you if Umbreon was the butterfly effect of you stumbling down the furry rabbit hole. If Leafeon's the most underrated Eevee, Umbreon is by far the most overrated. And I'm contributing to that overrating because it is a banger. You must have some kind of personal beef if you despise Umbreon. Umbreon must have tore apart your Freddie Mercury signed Queen album while you went out to buy Pringles for a second if you have beef with it. Generational being the Nightman is. You might like Vaporeon for being versatile, or Umbreon for looking coolio, or because Shadow the Hedgehog infested your brain at a young age. You can justify your favorite Eevee, you can overcomplicate it as much as you want, but everyone's go-to Eeveelution really just comes down to, hey there son, why is Eon your favorite? Yeah, dunno mate. Just is. Why is Jolteon my favorite? Yeah, dunno, mate. Just is. Just always go for the Jolteon. If your girlfriend goes, yeah, I think Leafeon's the best one, and you ask, oh yeah, why's that? What do you think she's gonna say? Or you think she's gonna pipe up back to you like, well, you see, Leafeon is a fairly powerful wall breaker for PU, ergo with its high attack and speed. No, she's gonna go green. Leaves would match the kumquat tree in the living room. Convert to marketable plushie now. It really is just monkey brain moment. And no other Eevee activates my neurons quite like a Jolteon. But I want to know what caused this primal frontal lobe activation. Is it evolutionary? Is it nature or nurture? Is it like Shadow activating my brain to be more drawn to dark Umbreon-like Pokemon? Did the same happen here with Jolteon? Maybe there's a correlation between the time Jolteon became my favorite and the first time I saw Goku become a Super Saiyan. Nah, you know what? I think I've cracked it. It's spot on, Donnie. See, my brain is smarter than me. It calculates things without me even knowing. It picks up on stuff before I can even realize. It's only just now decided to relay the information downwards to me that Jolteon is my top choice because it's just a Super Saiyan Eevee. It all finally makes sense. Even Vegeta's reaction to witnessing a Super Saiyan for the first time. Kakarot, you dog! I could go into the reasoning for Jolteon. It's just fun to use. Electric types in general, I'd say, are some of the most fun to use in all fairness. Jolteon's speedy. He packs a wallop. He's got the Volt Absorb ability. The boy's a solid hand in the ring. But like everyone's favorite of anything, in a sense, you can't choose. Your brain's already decided for you. Like, do you really get a say in your favorite color? Not really, your brain's done it. You can't really change that, can you? Some people like loud, fluffy dogs that were bred to entertain the upper tax bracket. I like abnormally stocky dogs that were bred to hunt bulls but now lay about sunbathing with sleep apnea. To each their own. A lot of it is all just monkey brain activation. I can't help it that my brain releases jolly chemicals every time I see a dog that's looking diesel. I can't help it that Jolteon's my guy.